All but one are vaccinated. One person has just received one dose of vaccine. All but one are vaccinated.
And here's some interesting information. The truth was actually spread from NSW.
141 people are in hospital with COVID at present, and 43 are in intensive care, 18 of whom require ventilation. So this is a very serious disease. Of those 141, 60 are under the age of 55 and 28 under the age of 35. And of the 43 people in intensive care, one is in their teens, 7 are in their 20s, 3 are in their 30s, 14 are in their 50s, and 12 are in their 60s, and 6 are in their 70s. So this is affecting people of all ages with very serious disease. All but one are vaccinated. One person has just received one dose of vaccine. All but one are vaccinated. One person has just received one dose of vaccine. All but one are vaccinated.
All but one are vaccinated, and they slowed it down so you can hear him. So they have all these cases. All but one are vaccinated. And what they're really trying to do is make you not believe that. We're going to, we shared that in the last video. They don't even want to test people that have been vaccinated, so that way it doesn't show that vaccinated people are the ones that are actually coming up with probably something real. Here's another Dr. Peter McAuliffe, always talking and showing, here's a video about the pandemic of the unvaccinated.
We knew even in the spring in the United States, our CDC had a fully documented 10,000 cases of vaccine failures by the end of May. So we knew the vaccines were even failing before the Delta variant moved in. And in fact, the CDC gave up on this, and they started doing what's called asymmetric reporting, meaning that they were not going to count vaccine failures in the COVID-19 rates. And that's how the talking points were generated. Americans should know that the CDC by the end of May had announced asymmetric reporting of COVID-19. This is important to understand, that they were only going to report COVID-19 community cases in those that were unvaccinated, that they were no longer going to track COVID-19 in those who had received vaccination. And if they became aware, if the first test was obtained in the hospital and they were vaccinated, they would try to link it up with vaccine databases. But otherwise, the CDC is intentionally and willfully blind through breakthrough cases for COVID-19 vaccination. So that's what's created the false and fraudulent talking point that 99% of American cases are unvaccinated. It's not true. It's probably roughly 50-50. And that's what we're seeing in practice. We have about half the cases are indeed vaccine failures.
This is being called a pandemic among the unvaccinated.
This is becoming a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
A pandemic of the unvaccinated.
This is an epidemic that's occurring in the unvaccinated.
We're seeing a pandemic among the unvaccinated.
So this is becoming a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
The Centers for Disease Control says unvaccinated Americans are driving these numbers, accounting for nearly all deaths and almost all of the hospitalizations.
We are seeing outbreaks of cases in parts of the country that have low vaccination coverage because unvaccinated people are at risk.
So it's going to find those pockets in each community where people aren't vaccinated, and it's going to do a lot of damage.
So the war on the unvaccinated is happening. They're so worried about those that haven't had the jab. You'd think that they'd be glad to have us all gone, the way they talk.